Okay, thank you, and good morning to all of us. Welcome to our session where we will be discussing the role of technology in logistics. Our key understanding is to be able to see the reason as to why we need technology in our logistics activities. When we talk about logistics, it's simply how organizations plan to implement and manage the movement and storage of goods. So it will be critical for us in this century to be able to embrace technology so that the issues of storage, the issues of transportation do not become a thorn in the flesh that we are unable to do them as organizations. Therefore, I welcome you into this session. I believe that it is going to be impactful to all of us, and we are going to leave having a better understanding of what technology is in logistics. Okay, so we are beginning with understanding an overview of logistics in Africa. Why do we need to have this conversation of embracing technology? It is because the Africa map, the way it is represented, we have countries that do not have direct access to the ocean. Therefore, we refer to those countries as landlocked countries. Thus, they need to work around their logistical issues so that they still are able to receive goods as any other country. So part of the 17 that we can be able to give examples are countries like South Sudan, countries like Uganda, countries like Burundi, Botswana, Chad, and many, many others that are classified under those countries that we refer to as landlocked countries. And therefore, for them, logistics takes a different conversation of altogether, and they need technology. Technology is where we bring in aspects of the different tools and techniques in order to be able to improve efficiency within the logistics space. And for these countries and for all other countries that logistics is key for all of them, the 54 of them, then I have said our key component under logistics is number one, we are going to be considering what we call transportation. How are we going to be moving goods from one point to another? We ask ourselves that very important question. And then also in logistics, we also have conversations on warehousing. That is to do with storage. We also have conversations on how we are going to do inventory management and conversations on material handling. All that is what encompasses logistics. So we bring in the aspect of technology to assist us to bring on board various tools and equipments where possible. We embrace what we call now digital technology, that even if we are using road transport, we have tracking systems that can be able to, for example, tell us where the driver is, are the goods still safe, how many kilometers are remaining to the destination. All that is a place that technology has brought us around logistics. Then how do we improve our processes and methods? Those are questions that we are going to be answering. excuse me. Now, when we talk about these landlocked nations, we have said that they do not have access to oceans, but they will still require goods and services. They will still require them to be delivered to their destination. So what do they do? Because definitely they are receiving those goods from across the world. What do they do? And they do not have access to oceans. Number one, they do what we call, they enter into what we call transit agreements. And these transit agreements involve negotiating with countries that have access to the ocean in order to assist them to ease their transport. So those agreements are very, very common. That's why we have not had issues that country X is not able to access any item or any good that they need. It is because those that are in the list of the landlocked countries, then there's nothing much they can do because that is nature. But they can, in the human perspective now, enter into transport agreements or transit agreements with those countries that have access to the ocean, and they will be able to still receive the goods and services. And then other countries, of course, are developing what we call dry ports or inland container depots. And the function of these ports or these dry ports is to be able to function like seaports. But the only challenge is that they do not have direct access to the ocean. So what really happens in between, there is the use of the mode of transport, road, to now get the goods into the dry port. And you will also find that these dry ports have what we call warehousing facilities. Companies, countries, organizations, businesses will have an opportunity to be able to store their goods within the dry ports. Of course, we cannot talk about logistics and fail to mention the issue of different modes of transport that we use vis-a-vis what we call the roads, rail, water transport, air transport. All those modes of transport have been put in place so that they can ease our ability to receive whatever kinds of goods that we need in whatever location of the world. So as we proceed, we are now going to get into understanding the basic technologies that we adopt. Remember, our discussion is on technology in logistics. How can we embrace it so that it serves us in a very good way? So we are also noting down that when it comes to logistics, it's a very important part of the supply chain management. And the concentration around it is how are we going to move products and information and services from one location to another. And the key intention is to be able to satisfy our customers. There are customers who are dependent on us to be able to receive certain and particular items. And therefore, when these customers are able to receive these goods, then our logistical operations and activities are well cut out and that they are well thought out. So that is to say that logistics is extremely a very important part of any company that intends to move goods from one point to another. So we need to look for modalities of ensuring that it is working. If it is these transit agreements that we are talking about, that is country to country, we can get into those conversations. If it is the development of dry ports, we can get into financing agreements that are going to assist us to be able to to develop these ports. And then we have a number of what we call logistical activities that are involved, or activities that are involved around logistics. And the first one is what we call inventory management. Another name for inventory is what we call stock. So through logistics, inventory management will be our ability to be able to track stock levels. And when we are tracking stock levels, then we bring into the concept of understanding how much in terms of stock levels do we have. Then we develop excuse me, systems that are going to assist us now to track the stock levels. We have what we call the minimum reorder level, maximum reorder level. We need to understand those levels, that when we get to the minimum reorder level, then it is an opportunity for us to be able to reorder our goods so that we fill up to the brim whatever goods that we need. So inventory management is very, very important. Sometimes in countries you hear maybe there is a shortage of fuel, there is a shortage of a particular good. Probably that could be a reason around logistics, that maybe the avenue that we are using has not been well utilized, or it is having some shortcomings within it, or it is having some challenges. Sometimes, for example, when we talk about the mode of transport, the pipeline transport, we could have disruptions, we could have leakages within the pipeline system. And that for countries, those that are transporting maybe fuel, we need to have ways and means of checking whether the system is okay. So now you're going to realize that we are getting to a point where technology is also enabling us to see what is happening inside the pipeline. So if there is any leakages, then we can be able to understand and be able to sort. And we can be able to know the leakage is happening at this particular specific spot. That is one way that technology is now assisting us to manage our pipelines. Nowadays, because of electricity transmission, we have very huge power lines that are cutting across the world and across countries. It may be difficult for us to physically know where is the issue when, for example, we have power blackouts. But through technology, it can assist us to identify the specific spot, and we know how to resolve whatever issues that are there. Logistical activities, we're also saying that it encompasses the issues of transportation, the movement of goods from point A to B. I have already mentioned the modes of transport: road, water, railway, air transport, pipeline transport. There's another one we call containerization. All those are key transport modes that are going to enable our logistical activities to be a success. So the choice of what transport mode will be dependent with the country, will be dependent with the business, will be dependent with the cost of the transportation, will be dependent also on the availability of the transportation mode, will also depend on the availability of infrastructure that is supposed to support that particular mode of transport. If we want to use air transport, for example, what is the nature of our airports? What is the nature of our airstrips? So logistics is a really wide area of discussion that we may not be able to exhaust, because when we get into the understanding of these transport modes, then we also talk about the benefits of each, the challenges of each, factors to consider when you are choosing a particular mode of transport. That is what I've just highlighted, for example, in terms of cost and availability. So transportation is key. It is a key logistical activity. And also, finally, we also have what we call warehousing and storage. So how do we store our goods? What facilities are in place? For example, we have goods that require refrigeration. An example is when countries experienced COVID-19. Then the vaccinations that we were receiving, they required refrigeration. And therefore, before ordering those vaccinations, the first thing countries were doing was to establish a refrigeration facility. Otherwise, that would have been an exercise in futility. You can see logistics really came in hand around that time, and technology. So because of the ability to refrigerate these medications and vaccines, they were able to serve various citizens in the world. But it was not just an exercise of putting them in boxes and dropping them in country A and B. There was more to that because of the nature of vaccines and how they required to be stored. Of course, we have those kind of goods that now will have specifications in terms of storage. And if you do not follow those specifications, what is likely to happen? We are likely to lose those particular goods. We are also in logistical activities, we are also transporting and storing perishable goods. We need to have the right and the relevant facilities. So warehousing and storage, we have the easiest and the conventional one where you just need a room and places that you can place those goods. Then we have those advanced warehousing facilities. We need technology. You can see an example of this image on my right here. This particular kind of vehicle is going to assist those that are in the logistics space to be able to lift these items that we are seeing on the screen here from one point to another. Maybe whoever was dropping them, it is at this particular point where it could have been the last bit where they can only put them. And then our warehouse is 1 kilometer away, 2 kilometers away. Then this particular kind of vehicle comes in and it enables us now to move these items closer to the warehouse. And then when we are picking them back, we can be able to do it very easily. So we have various kinds of technology that are assisting us to be able to do that. So there is nothing that can proceed today around logistics, and we do not embrace technology. So it has become a key part of logistical activities. In order for us to be efficient, in order for us to be able to deliver the goods on time, deliver goods that have been appropriately stored, then technology becomes a very important bit of these logistical activities. We have a number of global logistics companies. We have UPS Supply Chain Solutions. This is a company in the US. You can see the kind of revenue that they are able to get through activities to do with logistics. Remember, nowadays you can contract this kind of companies to undertake the logistics part for you, simply because they are able. Number two is a well-known business for all of us, DHL Logistics. This is a company in Germany. and it has been in operation for over 50 years. You can imagine the kind of investment that is they have been able to put in to be able to have goods move across the world very easily. The kind of facilitation. Of course, when you go to people like DHL, which we can say they are in many countries, then they have a special consideration on what exactly are you transporting, what is the weight of the item. So as they calculate the cost of how much you're going to pay for whatever good that you are selling or transporting, then they base it on the number of kilograms of the item. So the more the kilograms, the more it becomes expensive. Air transport is even more expensive through DHL. And of course, we have other global logistics company, FedEx Corporation, Marex, and Kuhne and Nagel in Switzerland. So these are just examples of companies that have been particularly established to ensure the logistical activities go on smoothly. Remember, we have said if we are investing in technology, then for logistics, we need a substantial amount of money to be able to assist us. So those companies that are not able and they still want to have their goods delivered from point A to B, then they approach these well-established logistical companies to do the operations for them. So it is very, very important to be able to understand. You can also check various logistical companies in your country, identify by finding out what is the cost of moving these goods from this point to another point, and simply try also to understand the kind of technology they are using in their place to be able to ensure that the logistics activities are smooth. Now, we are saying technology is very crucial in order for us to improve our logistics operations, to be able to reduce costs, to be able to stay competitive. And once we bring in technology, then we are able to enhance efficiency, we are able to enhance visibility, we are able also to have a satisfied clientele. And remember, a satisfied customer will always go and come back if you are giving them good logistical services. Of course, today we are also moving into the world of e-commerce. And e-commerce is where we are doing a lot of trading online. And therefore, it means we have to look for avenues, ways and avenues that are going to assist us to get these items to the customer. The purpose of e-commerce, excuse me, is to just assist the client to receive an item without a lot of struggle, rather than them go move the entire of Juba looking for certain items. Then at the click of the button on their mobile phones, they can order an item. And so what these companies do, e-commerce companies, we have quite a number of them. We have Jumia, we have eBay, we have Alibaba. Then they have to have conversations with logistic companies in order for them now to have this item be delivered to the client. So the client, at the click of the button, will just look at this item and they order. So you will also find, as part of logistics, these companies are going to establish what we call collection points, that And even as you're ordering, you are making a choice of the item, you have that opportunity to go to still within the website to pick your collection point. So you check on that collection point that is close to you, and you can be able to collect your good on that item. For a layman's, of course, they just go and pick and they are satisfied. But for those in the logistics space, they know that it is a combination of many issues so that that good can get to the customer in that manner. So customer satisfaction will be very key for logistics operations. And we embrace technology for it to be able to work. We have what we call telematic and fleet management. When we talk about telematic and fleet management, is where we now bring in telecommunication and monitoring technologies. These ones are going to assist us to ease our transportation. They are going to assist us also to receive and store data remotely. So there is a link with on our fleet activities and a link on our transport activities through devices like what we call, or through technologies like we call the GPS. So at whatever point, we are able to track what is happening along our roads. We are going to be seeing quite a number of technologies that are going to assist us to be able to do that. And then also, there is need for us to be able to use various kinds of technology. For example, the trackers now, they are going to assist us to be able to play a very crucial role in monitoring the movement and status of goods. And we do this very easily, where we install these trackers on our transport modes. If it is road transport, we can be able to install these trackers on our vehicles. Of course, they are technology enabled, and the more we move on, the more they are becoming advanced. You can even track the driver's speed. You can track whether the goods are still intact. You can be able to track the kilometers that the driver has been able to use. You have seen these trackers also being specifically put in place to safeguard the vehicle in itself from things to do with theft. And therefore, all that is technology that has been put in place to ensure the movement of goods. Conversations around logistics are well taken care of. Around tracking also, we have what we call the Internet of Things. So we have enabling environment for physical products to connect with machine systems through the internet. So internet connectivity is key. Through it, we can be able to now assess the entire logistical operation of a company, of a country. Like I've said, nowadays, even through the pipeline system, it is easy to track anything that is happening along the lines. I have seen interesting people that will get to know that this is where the pipeline is passing. Maybe it is a pipeline that is transporting fuel. And then they begin to redirect that fuel into their own establishment through what we call siphoning. So now, because of what technology, or where technology has brought us, we are able to resolve those kind of issues. We put in place machines and systems that are going to allow us to track what is happening. Then we have the famous technology that we call the GPS, or what we call Global Positioning System. And we are saying this system is very, very important in terms of assisting us to use satellites to tell where you are on Earth and what time. So logistics companies are also embracing the use of GPS. It is the one also that enables us to be able to even follow routes that we have never used, and it still becomes possible. Yeah, so it is very, very important to understand. Now, in terms of advancement in technology now, under the GPS conversation, now we are having systems that even have sensors, and these sensors can be able, for example, to track the temperatures of, for example, items that we are transporting that are perishable. We also have through GPS enabled door sensors. So if a container is opened midway, then we have a sensor that can be able to alert whoever that is transporting, or the transportation company, that we have, the door has been opened. Probably it could be conversations around the theft of goods and services, or the theft of goods. So now that is the advanced level of adopting GPS. And now we have now moved into what we call real-time monitoring of transportation of goods through what we call web-based platforms or mobile applications. So at the click of a particular website, you are able to know exactly where your item is, and it shows you at what particular day you are going to receive it. That is part of logistics also. So we have those web-based mobile application platforms. An example is when you go to the DHL website, you have sent an item from Juba to Nairobi, from Nairobi to Uganda, or to whatever place, and you would want to know where it has reached. Once you get to the DHL platform, it is very interesting that, of course, once the once the goods have been packed and released, then you are given a tracking number, and the tracking number is meant to assist you now to be able to track your item. So when you go to the DHL website and you want to track, you're going to see a place where they require you to enter your tracking number. So once you enter your tracking number, then you are able to see your item. Remember that tracking number will also be appearing on your item, or it is what your item has been assigned by the time it left its destination. So once you enter the tracking number, you are going to receive various kinds of information. For example, you will receive kinds of information in terms of the current location. What is the current location of your item? Estimated delivery time. The web-based platform can be able to give you that, the estimated delivery time. It can also be able to give you the shipment status. Is it on transit? Has it arrived? And it can also give you a tracking history. So if you have been using DHL for some time, then you will also see all that items in the list. That is technology also. We are calling that advanced use of GPS now under what we are calling the real-time monitoring. So you can keep following it or keep checking until we get to our destination. Now we have what we call the electronic logging devices. These ones are also very, very critical. And we are saying their purpose is to be able to monitor and record a driver's driving time. And by doing so, we are able to adhere to legal and improving overall safety on the roads. Now, of course, for electronic logging devices, they also have to be installed in whatever mode of transport that we have decided to use. And then, of course, they are enabled to now be able to collect data from the vehicle's engine. So if they are able to tell us, for example, what is the status of the vehicle engine, for example, is it on or off? Electronic logging devices can assist us to find out that. Also, they have become very critical in terms of enabling us to know the vehicle speed, in terms of knowing the location of the vehicle and the driver, and also they enable us to to understand the driving time and duty status of drivers. So all these technologies are very, very important. They assist us to get to a point where everything is at the palm of our hands and we can be able to access it. So GPS electronic logging devices are very, very critical. So they also help us to be able to track vehicle location. We can also do route planning with this kind of technologies. So by the time we are leaving, already because of the technology, we can see our route. We can see the direction. We can see what is the kind of infrastructure that is along the road, and so on and so forth. And of course, now these technologies have enabled us to improve delivery times. They have enabled us to enhance the safety of our items, and also they have become very key in terms of tracking the behavior of our drivers along our roads. Okay. Now, we are also today having huge and big conversations around the social media and logistics. The critical role that social media is playing in terms of logistics. And that's why we are saying almost everyone uses social media. And so it is a very valuable and a critical tool in terms of logistics. Of course, now we use these platforms to ease in communication. Logistics companies have these particular platforms. They can keep updating their clients when we have changes in prices, when we have changes in government policies around the movement of goods, around logistics. Social media comes in handy to be able to give us this information. So that is to tell you that we cannot separate social media and logistics. It is because of social media that we are able to do what we call real-time updates on shipments. We can give regular updates. We can have quick communication with our customers in case there are any issues. Nowadays, WhatsApp has now been enabled that you can develop a WhatsApp channel for your logistics company. And also, our social medias now are interlinked to our WhatsApp. So in case a person is interested to sending an information in your logistics company or to find out anything around logistics, we can have somebody responding to that particular comment immediately. Because of what we have called web-based platforms also, you will find that as a client, you can go to websites. For example, we have the famous website for cars, SBT Japan, where it is chat enabled. But once you get to the website, you can have a conversation virtually with someone. Maybe it is an inquiry that you want to make. So now we have advanced it and moved it into our social media platforms, and it is really easing our activities. And then also these platforms will be key in terms of facilitating networking with suppliers, with distributors and other partners. We have the use of barcodes. This is a very important tool. Barcodes, the conversations around barcode readers. If you go to supermarkets, you will see them as they are calculating how much in terms of goods you have bought. Then there is the element of bringing in the aspect of barcode reading. Yeah? So every item within the supermarket has a barcode. And the purpose of the barcode also, these systems are also very key in terms of assisting us to track goods. What I was just talking about, the minimum stock levels, maximum stock levels. So when we receive these goods, the more they are going out, the system is automatically able to tell us in item X, this is what is remaining. Yeah. So the issue of barcode readers has now been really embraced today. And sometimes you go to places and for you to even confirm the menus and the prices, then you bring in the aspect of scanning of barcodes to be able to get the appropriate information. So it is also part of logistics. We are embracing it because barcode readers have the ability to assist us to do tracking of goods. You can see an example of a well-represented barcode. So this number will of course be representing a particular item X. And then once it is scanned, you are able to know the number. Then we have the quick response codes. We are saying that they are two-dimensional barcodes. They can store more information than barcodes. These are the codes that I'm also referring to, that just by having a phone that has the ability to scan them, you receive information. If you want to know the prices of various items, you just scan through your phone. Those are what we call quick response codes, and you get the information. And we are saying they are square-shaped and black squares. It's just like you're seeing on our image here. They have also been very critical for logistics, providing information on whatever items that clients need to be able to get a particular information. Then now we are embracing what we call blockchain technology also in logistics. It has become an important bit. So we are saying it is a decentralized and distributed ledger system that is going to enable us to record transactions, data across multiple computers. And the purpose is to be able to create a transparent, immutable, and secure record of information. Now, we are advancing, like we have been saying since we started, in terms of the usage of technology. So now we are adopting blockchain technology, and this technology is also meant to ease in our logistics activities. So it is a very important technology also to be able to adopt. Now, this will depend, of course, with the organization. And it brings in more security for our goods. It enables transparency to happen. We have also embracing this technology, enabling us to eliminate intermediaries through cost reduction. It is enabling us to automate our processes. It enables us to reduce errors and discrepancies. And also, in case of any disputes around our logistics activities, then blockchain technology is able to assist us, because we have all transactions recorded through this technology, all activities recorded. So when we have disputes between parties, they can easily be resolved because of what we have said. The information is very, very transparent. Of course, we have companies that are using blockchain technology. For example, is what we call Walmart and IBM Food Trust blockchain. And this one is to be able to track food products from farm to shelf, ensuring that there is safety. Remember, along the logistics chain, there are bound to be many, many challenges, theft or loss of items. So the reason why we are embracing blockchain technology and other forms of technology is now to enable us to avoid those kind of challenges. So the purpose of this kind of technologies and any others, their intention is to enhance trust. Their intention is to be able to cut on costs. Their intention, and which is a very key one, is to enable better traceability of goods. So it is a good technology to be able to adopt. Then we have the role of AI in logistics, and we are using AI in order to be able to optimize or maximize our logistical operations. And we are saying it is key in terms of analyzing things like traffic conditions, weather, road closures. Sometimes you could be headed to a direction where we have road closures and you do not know. So AI is critical in terms of transforming logistics. It helps us to improve in decision making. For example, if we have a road closure somewhere, we can be able now to identify that in advance, even before we leave, and it becomes easier for all of us. So through artificial intelligence, we can do what we call, for example, predictive analysis. Companies are able to be more proactive in managing and preventing various shortages. And also route optimization is what we are talking about, that are going to enable us consider weather and so many other things. And through AI, we can also, or artificial intelligence, we can also be able to do warehouse automation. Nowadays, we are getting to the extent where we can even adopt the use of robots to enable us move items within the warehouse. And of course, the key focus is on us improving on our accuracy. It is us on improving our speed. So it is a critical bit of technology that we can also be able to embrace. So as we wind up, we have what we call the ability for us to do demand forecasting. So through technology, we can forecast on demand of various goods and items. We can be able to, through technology, track, like when we use barcodes, like you have mentioned them. We can be able to know through that kind of technology how many items would be required, or based on these items that we are selling here, on a weekly time, how many of these items are bought, then that really assists us to be able to make a decision in terms of buying and selling. In terms of quantity, what do we bring on board to be able to assist us?